Close your eyes for a second. Listen to the words you're hearing right now, inside your own head. For most people, this inner voice acts as a constant companion. It is the narrator used to plan the day, replay memories, and process the details of daily reality. But research into internal experience shows that this narration is not a universal human trait. There are individuals whose minds are completely silent. They have no running commentary, no internal narrator, and no voice reading these words in their head. If your sense of self is tied to this voice, it raises a question. How do you navigate reality and make decisions if that voice isn't there? The brain does not require language to execute complex tasks. Think about your physical reflexes. You catch a falling glass without calculating physics or telling your hand where to move. The brain processes the data and reacts instantly. All humans experience high-level processing without words, such as recognizing a familiar face in a crowd or experiencing a sudden intuitive feeling that something is wrong. In these moments, language is merely an output for the thought, not the underlying machinery of the thought itself. Thinking often happens beneath the layer of language. A silent mind is not empty. It operates on raw data without translating it into words. Psychologist Russell Hurlburt used real-time thought sampling to study these differences. He found that the way people experience their own minds is more diverse than previously assumed. This diagram shows two ways to plan a task, like buying groceries. The left side uses a verbal, linear list. The right flashes through images. In social settings, the left side rehearses conversations word for word, while the right relies on a fluid sense of intention. People with silent minds often utilize alternative forms of processing, such as visual flashes and spatial intuition, or raw emotional awareness. They reach the same functional outcomes as those with an inner voice, but they do so through a different cognitive modality. If you have a constant inner voice, it's worth considering its actual impact. Is it always helping you, or is it occasionally just making noise? Inner speech is useful for organizing complex ideas, self-reflection, and talking yourself through a difficult challenge. However, that same voice can also generate spiraling anxiety and overthinking by replaying past mistakes or worrying about the future. Without this verbal loop, people with less inner speech often report fewer instances of mental chatter, making it easier for them to focus on what is happening in the immediate present. Since people can function effectively without an internal narrator, it suggests that the voice is a cognitive tool for processing information, one that can be used or set aside, rather than the essential center of a person's identity. The frequency of this specific inner voice is not a permanent fixed trait. The internal experience of consciousness can change. Practices like mindfulness or visualization exercises can strengthen nonverbal pathways, which often reduces the volume of mental chatter. As the chatter quiets, the relationship with your thoughts changes. You move from being immersed in the narration to being an observer of it. Ultimately, whether a mind is loud or quiet matters less than how those thoughts influence a person's actions. The next time your inner voice begins talking, pause for a moment. Ask yourself if the voice is genuinely helping